She was obviously very nervous but was pretending to be calm. No matter how clever, she was still a 15-year-old child. Mu Huixiu's lips curved as she thought this. Take you through the instance? Why? She was actually asking, why should I help you? Chen Shan declared, because I can tell you the truth of the game. Mu Huixiu wondered, do you mean the correct game order? This is very simple. I have already guessed it a long time ago. I just need to change the order of the 4th and 5th grids and I can clear the game. If you want to say this then you are wrong, little friend. She looked at Chen Shan's calm expression and her eyes narrowed. This isn't the truth. Chen Shan opened her mouth. We don't need to clear this game at all. Mu Huixiu was taken aback but she wasn't too surprised. She smiled and said, go on. Chen Shan said exactly the same thing as Tang Mo. The two of them never communicated but the things that smart people thought of were always the same, just as history always moved in a similar direction. Mu Huixiu asked the same question as Bai Ruiao. Why are you so sure that clearing this game isn't necessary? Mu Huixiu had also thought about this but she couldn't be as sure as Chen Shan. The little girl gave her the answer. It is because I can't clear the instance. Mu Huixiu was stunned for the first time. Chen Shan explained, previously, you said that my physical fitness didn't increase despite eating the chocolate cone. You aren't wrong. For some reasons, my physical fitness won't grow under any circustances. The Christmas tree branch from the Christmas surprise instance from 6 months ago had no effect on me. Santa's chocolate cone is the same. Fu Wenzheng didn't dare breathe in this atmosphere. Meanwhile, Chen Shan's face was calm and she showed no trace of fear. She knew that this optimistic-looking woman in black was first on the time leaderboard. The woman was a killer with 260,000 minutes of break time. Yet Chen Shan still raised her head and looked firmly at this woman. She said, Santa's 9 grids, each of them the size of a room. You can only leave one footprint in the grid, which means you can't take a second step. My physical fitness is better than it was before the Earth went online. This is because I have been working hard to exercise. However, the limit of my body is leaving one footstep in every grid. Thus, I can't clear the game. An hour ago, Chen Shan told Fu Wenzheng that they couldn't clear the game. In fact, this sentence was wrong. Fu Wenzheng still had a chance. If he got the number 5 lucky die, only triggered one punishment and was lucky enough to avoid it then he could pass the game. This was because Fu Wenzheng's physical fitness could be improved and he was much stronger than Chen Shan. He also had the mineral water made from his ability and he could boost his body's strength for a short time after drinking it. However, it was absolutely impossible for Chen Shan. The Black Tower never gives players a game that is impossible to clear. I can't pass the game so there is only one truth, the short-haired girl raised her head, her eyes firm. This game doesn't need players to clear it. Mu Huixiu had seen many clever players but at this moment, she saw the little girl quietly staring at her and she burst out laughing. Chen Shan's ears were red as she worried about Mu Huixiu's answer. Mu Huixiu asked, this is the last question. Why are you so sure I will help you? It is because, you are a good person. Mu Huixiu raised her eyebrows and didn't ask anything else. Chen Shan sighed with relief. She somehow made it through. Why did she decide to go to Mu Huixiu for help? In fact, the number 2 die wasn't impossible. For the 2 children, it was good enough that they could survive and still get some rewards. Then Chen Shan had Fu Wenzheng ask Tang Mo one thing. The one gesture with the left hand meant, first place on the time leaderboard. The thumbs up with the right hand meant, is she a good person to trust? Tang Mo's answer was, yes, Mu Huixiu is a good person and you can ask her for help. Thus, Chen Shan boldly turned to her for help. The thing that happened next was that Mu Huixiu brazenly helped the 2 children change dice so that at the end of the game, the number 5 dices were in their hands. No one understood why Mu Huixiu did this. The game had gone on for so long that most players gradually forgot that the lucky die was Santa's reward. They used this die as a game prop. As long as they cleared the game, the number of the die wasn't important. In the entire candy house, only Tang Mo's group of 4 dared to be 100% sure that this game didn't need to be cleared. It was because only the 4 of them knew that it was absolutely impossible for Chen Shan to clear the game. On the basis of this game doesn't need to be cleared, the player would turn their attention from clearing the game to the lucky die. Then they would notice that the true meaning of the 6th grid wasn't to let players kill each other but to let players gain more good rewards. Santa leaped from the giant lollipop and landed on both feet, shaking the entire S.P.A.ce. The players who hadn't cleared the instance were pale while others were slumped on the ground. The player who said the instance were happy. Ning Zheng stood in the same place, staring coldly at Tang Mo. After a long time, he said Hoa.R.S.Eli, in the previous 14 duels, you didn't take the initiative to give up and let me consume your strength. This is to tell me that you have the strength to fight me. Tang Mo turned towards him. Ning Zheng continued, you know that Bai Ruiao has something on me and threatened me to attack you. Thus, you let me hurt you again and again. Until the last time, where you didn't waste my time and conceding directly, letting my guild reach the apex, Tang Mo interrupted, Ning Zheng, you are thinking too much. Ning Zheng saw Tang Mo's expression and griped the die in his hand. His eyes widened as he realized something, no, it isn't just this. You did it on purpose. You clearly know that if you let me remember your feelings, I will dismiss it. Thus, you said that last sentence to make me think I needed to return your favor. I gave my number 6 die to your companion and let her have a chance to clear the game, You calculated against me to take away my reward. Ning Zheng gritted his teeth. Tang Mo, when did you start calculating against me? Was it from the first time I chose you to fight? Tang Mo looked at him and didn't speak for a long time. Ning Zheng shouted, Tang Mo. Tang Mo's lips curved. Do you guess? Ning Zheng was so angry that he wanted to rush over to tear apart the player who took away his reward twice. However, his sense of reason made him calm down. He watched Tang Mo and saw that he was looking towards Fu Wenduo, who didn't seem to be paying attention to the situation here. Ning Zheng couldn't do it. The smile on Tang Mo's face deepened. In fact, Tang Mo had no need to take away Ning Zheng's number 6 die. The die wouldn't be cheap enough to double Tang Mo's luck, and he wasn't kind enough to help a stranger. Yet he still die it. Tang Mo was the type of person who always paid someone back. Regardless of the reason, Ning Zheng helped Bai Ruiao consume Tang Mo's physical strength and injured him. It was inevitable that Tang Mo would retaliate. Calculating was one thing and succeeding was another. If Tang Mo's calculations hadn't succeeded, then he wouldn't bother Ning Zheng. It was just that he succeeded. Santa Claus put his finger in his mouth and whistled. The moment this sound was made, the entire white S.P.A.ce fiercely shook. The sound was weak at first and came from the far side of the commercial street. Everyone looked into the distance and could only see a small black dot. The group watched the black dot until it became 4 stu.r.dy reindeers whizzing down the long commercial street. They set foot on the street and the disappeared shops gradually returned to their place. The stores rose from the ground and the pressed down wall tiles were restored at a speed visible to the naked eye. By the time the reindeer pulling the sleigh stopped in front of Santa Claus, the candy house, the cake store, the gift shop and the biscuit store had been restored. The reindeer in the lead proudly raised his hooves, scaring a player into taking 3 steps back. Santa laughed. You guys, don't bully my lovely children. The reindeer glared at the player with disdain and put down his hooves. Santa looked at the remaining 11 players and touched his beard. The happy times are always so short. Children, it is time to say goodbye. The players couldn't understand what was going on. Santa Claus on the sleigh and pulled the reins, ready to leave. At this time, a player reacted. Wait, what about the game? The game rewards end, the punishment for failing the game. Santa looked at him strangely and made an exaggerated expression. Punishment? Santa ever punishes good children, only bad ones. Hey, are you a bad child who is dishonest? The player was frightened. I'm not. Santa Claus grinned, revealing a sly smile. Is there anything else? Cute children, the rewards are already in your hands. You still want another reward? Do you want me to give you a warm kiss? You are such greedy children. Santa Claus pulled the reins and sighed helplessly. Santa Claus business this quarter isn't good. I don't know why, but the children of the underground kingdom have started to gain cavities. The DAM.N tooth decay makes children dislike eating sugar. I should go. I need to take the time to study candy that doesn't make people's teeth decay. The players' expressions hanged as they heard Santa's words and understood his meaning. The slow-reacting players were the last to understand what Santa Claus meant. The fast-reacting players turned to look at the die in their hands the moment Santa Claus finished. The young woman was ecstatic and she whispered to Tang Mo, "Thank you." The players with larger points were excited while the players with smaller points stared at the die as they finally understood the true meaning of the game. Other players stared angrily at the woman in black. You took my die. You must have long known that this game isn't about winning or losing, only good or bad rewards. The angriest person was the man who cleared the game but was called to the duel stage, losing his die to Mu Huixiu. He angrily pulled out his knife and rushed towards Mu Huixiu. A red shadow flashed past his eyes and the player leaned sideways to avoid it. The long red whip slammed against the ground, causing it to shake slightly. This power was far from what he could resist. Mu Huixiu stared at him and smiled. Is there something? The young man opened his mouth before gritting his teeth and putting his knife away. The winner was the king. The man's 5-point dice was S.N.A.T.C. head by someone else. He wanted to tear Mu Huixiu to pieces but he wasn't stupid. The whip could break his neck in the blink of an eye if he really tried. Santa Claus watched the angry players and laughed with satisfaction. He kindly warned them, the sky is becoming dark and the quirky commercial street is closing soon. Good children shouldn't stay on the streets. Then he waved his reins and shouted Merry Christmas, while driving the sleigh out of the commercial street. A white light shone from the lucky die in each player's hand. The next second, the die disappeared and the white ball of light flew into the air before swooping into the players' hearts. Tang Mo touched his chest. He suddenly felt a bit more relaxed, as if something elusive had changed. He subconsciously turned his head to look at Fu Wenduo who was standing not far away. Before he could open his mouth, a dazzling white light flashed in front of his eyes. The white light hadn't dissipated yet when Tang Mo rushed to the right. He couldn't see but he clearly remembered that Bai Ruiao stood in this position before the white light appeared. At the same time as Tang Mo, there were 2 other sounds. Bai Ruiao started running away the moment he left the game but Fu Wenduo was faster. Fu Wenduo's right leg swiftly swept towards Bai Ruiao's lower body. Bai Ruiao heard it and jumped twice, placing one hand on the ground to avoid the attack. Tang Mo pulled out the small parasol, standing 3 meters away as the tip pointed at Bai Ruiao. A silver pistol was in Fu Wenduo's hand and the muzzle was aimed at Bai Ruiao's head. Beijing Temple of Heaven Park, 10 o'clock in the morning. The players returned to Earth and appeared on the flat land in front of the Temple of Heaven. The confrontation between Tang Mo's group of 3 was discovered and the players turned to run, not wanting to get involved. Only Tang Mo, Fu Wenduo, Bai Ruiao, Chen Shanshan, Mu Huixiu, Ning Zheng, and Fu Wenzheng were left in the open S.P.A.Ce. The baby-faced youth was caught in the middle of Tang Mo and Fu Wenduo. He looked to the left and right before acting pitiful. Tang, Major Fu, what are you doing? Bai Ruiao's head moved. Wherever his head moved, Fu Wenduo's muzzle followed him. Bai Ruiao cried out, wow, you are going to bully me. He looked up at Ning Zheng. Ning Zheng, you see, they are bullying me 2 against 1. Ning Zheng didn't move. He glanced at Tang Mo and then Fu Wenduo. Ning Zheng calculated the possibility of retaliating against these 2 people at a very fast speed. If he was alone then his chances of successfully retaliating was less than 10%. He wasn't like Bai Ruiao, who liked to tempt death. Ning Zheng decided to eat this loss. He would no longer have anything to do with these 2 people and would hide from them in the future. Ning Zheng looked up. Bai Ruiao, I have done everything you wanted me to do. I hope you keep your promise. Bai Ruiao's eyes were cold and he sneered. I never break my promises. Ning Zheng looked at him. I hope you remember what you said. Then Ning Zheng turned around and left. Tang Mo said, it looks like your only helper ran away. Bai Ruiao blinked. Tang, do you really want to kill me? How can you be so willing? Tang Mo smiled. I am very willing. Bai Ruiao didn't answer and slowly turned to look at the man in black on the other side. He stared at the person for a moment before stating, Major Fu. Fu Wenduo's lips curved. Fox. You want to kill me? Fu Wenduo didn't answer. Compared to Tang Mo's undisguised killing intent, Fu Wenduo just pointed his gun at Bai Ruiao's head in an indifferent manner. However, the eyes that were as cold as a snake could be ignored. For the first time, he sensed killing intent from Fu Wenduo's body. Bai Ruiao suddenly realized that this person was really angry. He played around so many times and repeatedly did things to cause trouble. This time, Fu Wenduo was finally angry. Bai Ruiao's brain worked quickly. There was only a wrong name and no wrong nickname. The nickname of Fly wasn't wrong and the nickname of Fox also wasn't wrong. Bai Ruiao was very smart. It was because he was smart that he could survive until now. He had enemies all over the world. Over the years, many of his enemies had died but he lived well. Why was Fu Wenduo angry? Bai Ruiao felt that he had noticed something but he couldn't fully grasp it. Then a surprised female voice was heard. Do you really want to kill Fly? Fu Wenduo looked at Mu Huixiu. Yes. Mu Huixiu raised her hands helplessly. Then I won't predict .I.P.8. Killing our peers is nothing to us and there are quite a few people who want to kill him. There are many Chinese spies who hate this annoying guy. Still, I won't kill him. Life and death, the strong and the weak, it doesn't matter. You do it and I'll watch. Bai Ruiao noticed her. Hey dear, you are just going to watch me die? We had a drink in Moscow. Mu Huixiu smiled. That's why I'm not intervening. The author has something to say, Shi Huiyao, I know that Tang and Fu aren't willing to kill me Xiao Fu, big brother, brother Tang, Ning, quickly kill this big villain.